From one legendary circuit to another, we stay in Europe one last time this season, the final endurance race at a truly legendary circuit. The race for the title was officially settled last time out with two more crazy races at the Hockenheimring, saw David Nagy crowned champion of 2020, but there is still plenty to fight for this season. Who will win the race to second? Which 10 drivers will be inside the top 10 and in what order? For today, though, we head to the Walloon municipality of Stavelot, to the legendary circuit de Spa-Francorchamps for the penultimate round of the 2020 CUPRA SimRacing Series. The return of last season's champion, the King of Spa, Alexander Dorneden, the main headline. To take you through all of the action, as always, myself, Lewis McGlade, alongside me, Robert Wiesenmüller. Hello.
Hello Lewis, hello everyone. Yes indeed, Spa, one of the highlights of the championship, definitely one of the most exciting circuits. We're very happy to be racing here for the penultimate round. And a strong grid, David Nagy, already champion, didn't have to return, but I think he wants to return. He wants to prove himself against the champion of last year, Alex Dorneden.
Yeah, it's going to be a thrilling fight. Hopefully we'll get some champion on champion action. If there is one circuit to throw Alexander Dorneden in last minute, it is absolutely this one. Of course, victorious here last year on the way to that 2019 championship. He is, you would suspect, come race day, I know it's a car he's not really raced, and he did the VIP event at the start of the year, but it's a race he's not, a car that he's not really familiar with. But at the same time, you still kind of expect him to be fairly strong round here in the race.
Yeah, we will see in just a few minutes, but before that, let's take a look at Hockenheim, because it were two quite exciting races there, Lewis. You have the highlights for us.
Welcome to highlights from the 11th round of the CUPRA SimRacing Series from the Hockenheimring. Race 1 would have David Nagy on pole position ahead of Jack Keithley and pre-qualifying pace setter Florian Haase. The runner towards turn 1 would see the inside line having a very poor launch, so Jack Keithley would have to squeeze Florian Haase. Haase, though, desperate to get through, coming into turn 2, would already jump his way into second position with Kirill Antonov ready to pounce, and pounce he certainly did. He would go around the outside down at the hairpin with Jack Keithley down the inside of Florian Haase. A great cutback from Kirill Antonov would allow him through on the German, and Jack Keithley got to second. Jack Keithley would be the first driver to fall foul of the track excursions at T1, running wide and giving himself a slowdown penalty, dropping him behind Kirill Antonov and Florian Haase, almost into the clutches of Zoltan Suti, but it managed to open the door for his teammate Moritz Lerner to get through, and with the momentum around the outside of the hairpin, that is exactly what he did. It didn't last long though. Moritz Lerner would be given a slowdown penalty, and with that he would wait a while to take it. It would drop him right the way to the back of the order. On board with Kirill Antonov, who'd closed down on David Nagy. Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. One for him, a slowdown penalty, and his chance to win a race had faded. He would drop down, get passed by Gianmarco Fiducci as well, down to 5th place. Then there was contact between Jack Keithley and Florian Haase, the first of a few contacts into the hairpin. Keithley would gain the position nonetheless, but rejoin a little bit further down the order. On board with Gogo Baldi, making contact with teammate Zoltan Suti into the hairpin. It would actually help Suti get by Kirill Antonov and up to 3rd place. Next lap, Baldi would overdo the hairpin again, allowing Juan Manuel Gomez through. And then the battle for the podium would heat up into the Sachskurve. Under the inside, Kirill Antonov swooped down past Zoltan Suti. At the head of the field, though, one man was being dominant more than anyone else. David Nagy takes yet another victory in the CUPRA SimRacing Series. The next race would see his teammate Gogo Baldi on the pole position ahead of Florian Haase and David Nagy himself. With a launch into turn 1, again the inside line having an unfavourable launch, and David Nagy was nearly able to pounce up into second position. Holding firm on the inside though, it would be Florian Haase holding that second position. Tim Yarshaw well into the mix as well. There's a little bit of contact there, and that's what threw David Nagy wide. He'd leave it on the inside for the arena section, would hold 3rd place on Gomez. Moritz Lerner would stay in 5th, and Tim Yarshaw was the loser in all of that. Gomez, though, wouldn't take him long to fire an attempt on the series leader. He'd get through and up onto the podium position. Tim Yarshaw would run wide at turn 1 and pick himself up a track excursion. David Nagy was very quick to fire one back on Gomez and retake that podium spot, maybe opening the door for Moritz Lerner to get through. It wasn't quite now his chance. It took him a lap to do so, and into the hairpin the next lap it was Moritz Lerner who would get through into 4th place following his championship rival. The two of them will be racing hard as Moritz Lerner would defend to the inside. Nagy just overdoes the hairpin though, and it opens the door to potentially Moritz Lerner delaying the crowning of Nagy in the championship. He would get back through on Martin Barner at the hairpin, an easy move for the series leader. Then high drama as Martin Barner and Jack Keithley would overdo the hairpin, making contact with Gianmarco Fiducci and David Nagy. This would be a strong penalty for the pair of them. Jack Keithley only one strike away from a 1-month ban from all competitions after that incident. Focusing on a great fight for the lead though, as Gogo Bowdy was desperate to hold on from Florian Haase, neither driver taking victory in the CUPRA SimRacing Series in 2020. Florian Haase down the inside to a fairly unopposed Gogo Bowdy at the hairpin, an easy move for him. Then Moritz Lerner would be fighting with Gomez for the podium. Gomez doing very, very nice work to defend. A brilliant cutback from him would allow him to hold third position, at least for now. Final lap of the race and the final attempt for Gogo Bowdy. He'd overdo the hairpin and Florian Haase looked set for his first victory in the CUPRA SimRacing Series. The door was wide open as well for Moritz Lerner to get through onto the podium, and that he did do. At the front of the field, Florian Haase did take that victory. It was the first one in the CUPRA SimRacing Series for him. However, the champion was crowned after a fantastic season from David Nagy. He is the 2020 CUPRA SimRacing Series champion with 2 rounds to go.
Thanks a lot, Lewis. Yes, David Nagy is our champion, and not the best round for Jack Keithley, who not only is 1 strike away from a 1-month ban in all competitions, but he's got a race ban for Spa, so he's not driving today.
Yeah, pretty big news coming into this for not only himself, but obviously Moritz Lerner as well, his teammate. When it comes to the points, he's just looking to secure second place, but Bent Banky, do not rule him out. Yeah, sure, he's a few points back, but it's not 100% secured. Lerner will be trying to secure that here today from Bent Banky. He's a little bit behind. Of course, Banky, who was top pre-qualifier coming into this, as you'd kind of expect from him, looking to try and hold on to third as well. Florian Haase, with that victory last time out, maybe a bit of momentum swing towards his favour. Rob, you never know how this thing's going to end with the last 2 rounds, Spa and Macau.
Yeah, Pinchos also put a lot of practice in here, but Antonov and Gomez were the 2 fastest drivers in the practice session just before this event. The 2 drivers were at the bottom of the top 10. And here we are on board with Alex Dohan already through Eau Rouge. Really through the first critical point, although Eau Rouge is flat on this car. Very high downforce for a touring car, the CUPRA Leon Competition.
It's still, as much as it is flat, you've got to watch out for the curbs, watch out for the track excursions. As much as it does give you a fair amount of leeway here, it's still pretty, you can catch a bumper on. But yes, the downforce, pretty nice. We run down the hill towards Ravage, on board with 2019 race winner and series champion Alex Donovan, picking up a fair amount of slipstream from Tim Yarshall directly ahead. I believe ahead of that is Moritz Lerner as well. So a fair slipstream train, you'd expect that around here. And this is what we're going to see throughout the race. Of course, it's a 60-minute race as standard for the endurance race. Based on last year, though, we saw so much slipstream happening. There was, I think, Donovan was pushed into it as well at the top end by Jaroslav Honzik, who obviously had a guest round as well a couple of rounds ago back in Suzuka. You kind of need a little bit of help around here when it comes to sometimes making passes. And if you've got 2 drivers up ahead, that's why for Moritz Lerner it's really not very good that he needed Jack Keithley around, because 2 drivers up towards the front, you can defend, whereas if it's just you by your lonesome, you could get freight trained around here.
Yes, but not a lot of drivers have teammates here in the series. And actually, a fun fact, in the top 10 of the championship, there's just 1 team which has 2 drivers in there, which is Williams. And now Keithley is absent, of course. So a lot of drivers there fighting for themselves. That's not Sultan Suti in the car, that's Ottaviani in the red and blue CUPRA there. The number 21, I think. Letting Lerner through, so it might be still quite a good lap for Moritz.
Yeah, Nagy is the only Mirror Esports driver here. There's no Gogo Bowdy, there's no Zoltan Suti, and there's no Ben Supernek as well. So there's just him as rolling in the background. I think that was Florian Haase. Not so great for him. First times then coming in, we've got a 228.6 for Gianmarco Fiducci. Good drive last time out, got himself a podium back in Hockenheim. And I'm pretty sure he'll be happy with that. And a nice way to kick the session off. I don't be strong enough to hold on to that position in the early phases of the session. It's quite hard around here. It's such a long lap. You do not get much time to do your times, because of course, as always in RaceRoom, once that timer hits 0, the session is done. So realistically, with it being 2:28, 2 minutes 30, you only have realistically enough time to do 2 flying laps in this session.
Yeah,
there are 2 AAA drivers working together.
Yeah, maybe you will do 2 laps in a row, but
That's a good point.
not sure if it works on the tires. Gomez into 2nd place, but Barner on for a good lap.
Yeah, getting slipstream from fellow teammate Adam Pinches. There we go, straight to the pole, 2:28.543. Good time from him. I'm pretty sure they're going to go out straight again, and then I'm going to assume they'll switch sides. So Adam Pinches will receive the slipstream around for the 2nd lap. The AAA esports driver, of course, Martin Barner joining that outfit last time out. A new driver for AAA. We look at the 2019 Series champion for Veloce Esports, Alexander Dornan, still in that slipstream trace, still got Tim Yarshall ahead, obviously drivers that have raced plenty of times together, and there it is on your screen. The King of Spa, Rob. It's quite a title, but for someone of Alex Dornan's stature, it's very fitting.
Yes, and it's unusual as well that one driver dominates a track that much. I've seen it on just a few other tracks, like Tim Yarshall at Shanghai. That's another combination that always brings a lot of success. But of course, Dorn fighting an uphill battle here, round 12 of the championship. He hasn't done any rounds this season, only the VIP race in the beginning of the year, which Thorsten Ulrich won, who's also on the grid today.
Thorsten Ulrich is actually behind Alexander Dornan on the timesheets. You see him there getting a slipstream. AAA Esports as well is Thorsten Ulrich. But 11th place, I'm sure he'll be wanting to do better than that. Of course, the VIP race a long time ago, and he's not been in the car quite as much as everyone else throughout the season. I think he's only done a couple of rounds as Thorsten Ulrich. Certainly not as many as others. I'm still sure he'll be pretty disappointed with that. Attila Dina ahead of this pushes Alex Dornan outside of the top 10, but Dornan fights back, goes to 8th. So decent time, at least for now, for a driver that's not really done too much experience in this car. 3/10 though, separating that top 8 around a 2:28 lap. Things are pretty close. We focus on Bent Banky, Red Bull Racing Esports. He's got Martin Barner, so he's actually gone out. Or so they're on their out lap, is Barner and Pinches. This is actually helping Bent Banky, having a bit of slipstream around, although that first sector, not good. The second sector's okay.
The second sector, I think, was even really good because he gained the time back on Barner. And now he's got the perfect slipstream from Barner, who could give away his own pole position here.
Here's where we'll see what he does. Slowing up a little bit there. Ooh, wasn't so good for Blanchimont. Comes up towards the bus stop. He'll get another lap after this. Will Bent Banky be able to escape, get some fresh tyres and go all the way back around again? We'll see what he can do towards the line, yet to set a time. He's behind the likes of Romanenko and Sokovikov at the back end of the field. What does he do towards the line? 20th he currently is. 4th is where he goes. Lost a little bit of time in the final sector to what he gained in a second, but still decent time. 2/10 off of the pole. Up to 4th, Kirill Antonov to set a time. What's he going to do? Behind him, you've got Sokovikov as well. P14 for Antonov. Pretty sure that'd be a little bit disappointing for him. Gogo Baldi's car being passed off to fellow Hungarian Szoboszlai.
Yeah, we've got both. We've got both Szoboszlais on the grid, the 2 brothers. Barlind in the car that we know from Gergo Baldi, and also Sylvester in the beige and green car. A little bit further behind. He's the older brother. Ballas Racing Team. If you want to see some buses, by the way, check out their Facebook page once again. This time they arrived with 3 buses. Probably the team with the most drivers in the championship. They've overtaken virtual drivers by TX3. Oh, and Fiduci's on a good lap.
It's always good to see a team having fun. We saw that last time out with Ballas Racing Team with the buses at Hockenheim. Obviously, if it works once, do it again. Gianmarco Fiduci, though, going very fast in that first sector. I know only 5,000th, but you know, the small margins all kind of make a difference up towards campus. Very tricky right-hander. Easy to sort of run it a bit wide, dip a couple of wheels in the gravel trap. Does it nicely through Stavolo. And it's looking like an all right lap time. Wow! Oh, that second sector. Gianmarco Fiduci is on a mission right now.
But he doesn't get a slipstream from ahead. I think he's just too far away. So that could be close. Barner definitely had a slipstream.
So different, teammate Pinches. What can it be for Gianmarco Fiducci? Couple of corners to go just through the chicane. Oh, he's massively overdone it. Oh, and even he knows he'll be able to do another time, but they'll be on worn tyres that have done a fantastic second sector, who was definitely on the limit. It looks like second might be as good as it gets for Gianmarco Fiducci, but even then, is it going to stand? David Nagy, the 2020 Series champion, getting some slipstream from the two Hungarians of AAA Esports, Adam Pinches, Martin Bonner. Martin Bonner gets out of the way of Pinches, so he did give him the slipstream all the way round, but Nagy is taking the most of that. Can Adam Pinches depose his teammate, currently in 11th place? In comparison to that, what is David Nagy going to do? The run to the line, pretty much the final lap that these two will do in this session. Where's he going to go? To pole for David Nagy, Series champion, gets ahead of Adam Pinches, who just moved up. There is a Hungarian 1-2-3. Pinches beats his teammate Barner on their final laps of the session, and David Nagy to the pole. That's wide for Lerner, might be too wide.
Let's see if the time still counts. Dorneden in the slipstream. Respectable performance by him in the top 10. And Florian Hasse is the driver who's missing 25 cars today, of course, because we've got the guest car. And Hasse, after his little roll in the beginning, hasn't quite found his grip again in the session. Still no timed lap.
No, indeed. If this lap is still legal for Moritz Lerner, then he'll be on for a bit of a blinder. I know he doesn't have slipstream, but at the moment he's qualified in 8th place, can qualify a little bit better than that. He's got the person that he's closest fighting for that second place in the championship. I know they're fairly distant apart, but Bent Banky is only a couple of places ahead, which is actually working out in the favour of Lerner. Lerner is still on the time, so he wasn't told off for it, and he's pulling along Alexander Dorneden as well. I wonder what times he's doing. Lerner for Williams Esports looking pretty good. Dorneden
time isn't valid.
Yeah, that's a shame. He won't have enough time to do another one either with the time left in the session, unless it is a very, very fast time. He'd have to change car though for that. Through the bus stop. Nicely done for Moritz Lerner. He hits both apexes, unlike Gianmarco Fiducci. Alexander Dorneden pulls off and goes for a little bit of a run somewhere else. What's Lerner going to do to the line? To 5th place. Decent improvement ahead of Tim Yarshall, Ben Spanky, Juan Manuel Gomez as well. Nice stuff from Moritz Lerner. Focusing back to Florian Haase. Yet to set a time. Will be able to finish this one. Decent-ish first sector. Getting a little bit of slipstream from his teammate Tim Yarshall as well.
Yeah, just about in the track limits there. Bit of oversteer in Puhan, and that happens very often on this car. You either get understeer or oversteer. It's very hard to get it right.
We'll see how that can play into the race, because of course the 60-minute race we expect a pit stop, and that window opens in the sort of the middle half of the race. And so for that, we've spoken before plenty of times this season that some drivers want to pit earlier in that window because they want to effectively cover off the change of balance to the car. Now, if you've worn your rear tyres, yes, sure, if you heat them up, they might actually grip a little bit better. But if they start to wear out or something, it's unlikely in a front-wheel drive car, but you never really know. It'll affect the balance anyway, and it may make, if you pit too late, the difference in the tyres may make it harder through Puhan, dependent on how you've driven up to that point. So maybe we'll see a lot of drivers taking an early pit stop round here. We'll see how it works when it comes to them keeping into that slipstream battle. Tim Yarshall gets out of the way of the Euronics Gaming driver of Florian Haase, so the slipstream all the way to the final chicane. What's Haase going to do? He's currently qualified 25th, so it can't get much worse than that. All 24 cars that have set a time are nearly within a second, just one within a 10th of that. 15th place for Florian Haase, so half a second off, only 15th. That is testament to how close this field is, Rob.
Yeah, and some big surprises here. Chian only in 21st position, and he can't improve. He won't be able to finish his time. So David Nagy, the champion, takes pole again, and top 3 all Hungarian.
Yeah, Pinches and Barner for AAA Esports will be looking to capitalise on their position and work as teammates to move their way forward. We'll find out what happens when we go racing here at Spa. The champion has done the business. Pole position goes the way of David Noj here. Penultimate round of the CUPRA SimRacing Series 2020. We're about ready to go racing. 60 minutes at this iconic, legendary circuit. We're looking for a fantastic race. We've seen it a couple of times in the CUPRA SimRacing Series, the VIP event, the 2019 season. Every time we go racing here, it is a fantastic experience. Expecting very much more of the same. Hungarian front row, though, as we've got David Noj on pole position on the right-hand side of your screen. You've got Adam Pinches in the black car on the left. We're about ready to go. Who's going to get the best launch into T1? With Adam Pinches on the inside, he should have a good run, and it'll be his ideal opportunity to maybe put one on the series champion. We are underway at Spa, the penultimate round of the season. The series champion seems to have a decent launch himself, with Gianmarco Fiducci as well, the Italian, trying to get involved with this on the inside of Martin Barner. It goes the way of Adam Pinches, though, who does get it done at La Source, and up to the race lead, puts one on the champion, and David Noj demoted down to second position. Gianmarco Fiducci, who was so disappointed with that lap that he was putting on in qualifying, didn't quite get it done with a mistake in the final sector, up to third, putting that to bed. Already ahead of Barner, already applying pressure to the champion. Further down the board with Romanenko, there is absolute carnage. No one going spinning though in the first sector. Very nice to see. Side by side and respect done through Eau Rouge for the first time. What's going to happen here? Down into Les Combes. Pinches looks to hang on. Oh, Gianmarco Fiducci defensive on the inside. Martin Barner getting under pressure from Tim Yarshall, who's got by Moritz Lerner, I think, but it might swing the way of Lerner as we head downhill to Ravage. No, Ronix Gaming, Tim Yarshall gets to fifth.
Close racing, but clean racing here on the opening lap of Spa. Oh, Gomez gets a little bit of a push there from, I think that's Max Pfeiffer with an excellent qualifying, and Dorneden right behind in the guest car.
Yeah, Pfeiffer returning to the series, of course. Did a couple of rounds earlier in the season and returning now. Oh, a little bit of contact there was Juan Manuel Gomez was trying to get the best line through Poole, and it's not really worked though, as it's maybe open door squeezes again with Pfeiffer. That's not so ideal, and I don't think Pfeiffer will be too happy with it. Alex Dorneden is though. He's going to dive to the inside. Oh, he's going to spin. Keep the foot in, man. Oh, and he does so. Oh, and he gets tagged though. Kirill Antonov gets into him, and Alex Dorneden is deposed to the near back of the field. That's not gone very well for the 2019 champion on his return to the CUPRA SimRacing Series, Rob.
Oh, that's very unlucky for him. Such a good pace in the beginning of the race, but the battles still continue. Hasse and Antonov side by side now. I think Hasse got damaged at the front.
Yeah, it's not where Hasse would want to be, of course, only qualifying 15th. Oh, a little bit of a tag again from Kirill Antonov. Antonov's been told off by the stewards a few times this season. I don't think he'll want to add anything more to his record. Hasse, though, 14th. Like I said, it's not really where he'd want to be, especially after winning a race last round. Oh, trying to go around the outside of Torsten Ulrich, taking his teammate's car. Oh, there goes the car back. I said teammates. I'm thinking of Moritz Lerner. Florian Haase, though, under a lot of pressure from the young Russian. No one making moves in the foreground, so the leader is going to remain the same. The first lap complete, and Adam Pinches leading the way. What a start. Oh, Romanenko into the barrier, rejoins the circuit, though. Behind Sylvester Shabashlai and Sokovikov as well. He must have been escorted into that position. There's no way. Oh, we're going to see some side-by-side here with Shabashlai's brother. Had to back out of it, though. Didn't fancy going side-by-side up the hill with the series champion, with the King of Spa. To the front of the field. Is this David Noj's best opportunity? I think he's probably going to lift out of it. Remain patient, at least for now. He doesn't feel that he needs to make a move on Pinches, although I think Gianmarco Fiducci might have something to say about that.
Lots of action. I'm not really sure where I should skip with the cameras. Taviani, for example, also in a close battle with Pointot, and Attila Dina right behind him. Dina looking on the inside. Ulrich looking even more on the inside.
Dina just had that one covered off. I don't think intentionally. I think it was just whilst he was trying to get by Pointot. He's actually doing really, really well here, up in 11th position, Quentin Pointot. We've seen him in split one an awful lot this season. Just kind of not really. He's struggled to get himself towards the top 10. So at the moment in 11th place, that's going very, very well for him as well. For Ottaviani, you see the catch there that Attila Dina had to do, going through Pouon. Nice catch. Everyone's going to be doing that all day. It's very easy for it to just take a little bit too far and probably catch you out. Florian Haase making contact with Torsten Ulrich just behind this. It gives him the inside. Oh, second part of the Fania. I mean, it's getting very racy back here. Oh, and over does Campus, opens the door again for Torsten Ulrich to go through, and Kirill Antonov all over the grass on the inside of Stavalo. They're still side by side through Curtin Paul Frere up towards Blanchimont. They're not going to do side by side of Blanchimont. Not this early in the race. No one has an advantage in this scenario. Kirill Antonov is feeling it. They're going to go for it. Oh, there's a touch and contact between the two, and Kirill Antonov does gain the place. Nice work between the two of them. Oh, see ya! That's Corentin Planteau going for a spin, I think. Certainly is. He was definitely assisted into that by I think it was Torsten Ulrich.
Close to call. Might have been Attila Dina, actually. This can happen, of course, at Spa, and everyone's racing here really hard once again. Monkey on his way forward.
Cool. This is the thing with Spa and the CUPRA SimRacing Series. We always just get a crazy amount of action. The top lot all kind of splitting up. Bance Banky drops in behind Tim Yarshall, who's not particularly quick there through Eau Rouge and up through Radion. It wasn't the ideal line he took. Obviously, it's completely flat. I think he took too much curb on the inside, maybe trying to give it enough room for Bence Banky, maybe a bit too much room. Battle for the race lead. Adam Pinches still managing to hang on from David Noj. To say, I don't think that pressure that Noj is applying is quite in the sense of I'm desperate for a move. It's more of the I'm going to take my time here and I'll pick you off when I'm ready for it, not when you are. And Gianmarco Fiducci behind's just waiting for the scraps so that he can potentially, take a victory at one of the most iconic tracks in motorsport.
Yeah, Fiducci hasn't won a race this season. He hasn't won a race on RaceRoom at all in the official esports series, at least not since 2017. Might be his first victory here.
And what a track for it to come at as well. Maybe a future King of Spa, Gianmarco Fiducci. We'll have to wait and see how that one ticks out, not only over the next sort of 53 minutes, but over the next few years. Leandro Vela, first retirement of the race. Snow Shatton Esports, unfortunately, no longer taking part in this race. Still got one bullet in the gun with Juan Manuel Gomez inside the top 10. We focus back on Florian Haase, Kirill Antonov, the driver that got by him. They've gone up to 14th, courtesy of Corentin Planteau, being dropped down the order. He's now under pressure from Emery Chihan and Alexander Dornadon as well. So as much as you've been sent off by someone, there's still plenty of pressure from behind. It never gives up.
Yes, and battles once again throughout the whole field. Here we've got Kirill Sokovikov in P23, but he's still fighting.
Yeah, and the two Shaboshlais also together. And that's one thing, if you're racing with your own blood, you definitely don't want to get beaten by them. There's that extra little bit of rivalry when it comes to that sibling rivalry. I'm sure most of us who have siblings have fought off the track, and Sokovikov gets into the back of Vitford. Just slightly brushing that quarter panel, now goes for the dive down the inside of the second part of the bus stop. Vitford wasn't having any of that though. The battle at the back remains as tense and as hard fought as the ones further up the order. We're all in one big train though, as we complete the third lap of running. The biggest split, I think, is that there for between third and fourth. It's quite a large gap. There are a couple of ones further down the order, but that gap between third and fourth is massive. Martin Barner does not have the pace of his teammate Adam Pinches leading the way, nor Noj, nor Fiducci, and he's under pressure from Moritz Lerner, who's doing everything he needs to do at the moment to try and effectively hang on to second place in the championship. His closest rival, Bence Banky, behind, not able to get by Tim Yarshall in that affair. That battle for sixth place, Bence Banky holds seventh. Oh, Attila Dina going toe-to-toe with Torsten Ulrich through Les Comps as we run through Malmedy towards Ravage. Attila Dina, one of our camera cars, has been good, been a good camera car for us all season. Been very much focused on the CUPRA SimRacing Series. Not quite inside the top 10 this race, but you wouldn't rule it out. That said, the gap between 11th of Torsten Ulrich and Ottaviani in 10th is quite a large gap now. Maybe it's too big for Slipstream to come into effect, so maybe Attila Dina's best opportunity for an overtake is now, and then maybe pit a little bit earlier, try and get some clean air, and try and get on with things, try and move his way up the order.
Yeah, we will see when they do their mandatory pit stop. 2 tires have to be changed. I would assume it's the fronts. They maybe someone going for all 4 tires.
Yeah, we've seen. I think we saw a couple of people try the 4 tire thing more out of accident because as much as the balance is obviously quite important when it comes to the car, but changing all 4 sometimes the added time for it. I'm not too sure about that. I don't really see it ever working, but you never know. I'm sure these guys will throw a curveball at some point. We would expect them to change the front tyres and none other. But if you're further down the order, sometimes you might take a risk for. Well, why not? Martin Barner then under pressure. Oh, Lerner's trying to go around the outside. He gives him the inside for the next part. It's just not going to carry the advantage. And now Tim Yarshall. Oh, he didn't quite back off enough. If he backed off a little bit more, and that's kind of hard to do when you're under pressure from Pence Banky, but if he'd backed off a little bit more, it would have opened the door. It might have done it, though, into the source. He's got the inside line. I think. Oh, they're going to be side by side for the corner. It should be momentum the way of Moritz Lerner, but I think he might have been far enough alongside with Tim Yarshall. No, he's not. He's dropped back out of it. You don't want to go side by side through. Well, I mean, you do, but it's not very efficient when it comes to time. David Nosh still applying massive pressure to Adam Pinches. Not gone for a move yet, but he's consistently leaving Radion a 10th off of the race leader. And I'm thinking that's kind of him basically. Are we still recording? Well, Pinches then leading the way still as we come to close the 5th lap of proceedings. They're a good 2.2 seconds clear of the rest of the chasing pack as Moritz Lerner has got through on Barner. No, not quite. He's got the inside though. There's going to be contact between the two, and this is Tim Yarshall's best example. Look at the drive of the corner that he's got in comparison. They're 3 wide towards turn 1, towards La Source. Oh, there's contact and pushing between Lerner and Barner, and Tim Yarshall might go for a little bit of an undercut. No, he's not. Moritz Lerner hangs firm and grabs 4th. This could be a great opportunity for him to try and move further up. I think Tim Yarshall's gone all the way around the outside, pulled the slipstream from Lerner, and they've both got Barner. Nice work. They've got it done, and Barner then deposed to 6th place. Pence Banky will be desperate to get by. Oh, straight away going for it. Sorry, before I insult anyone.
Apologies for everyone who missed a little bit of the race there. Our stream was still going, but we had a little problem in between getting the picture to you, but I think we're back live. Either way.
Technical issues, it's a joy of sim racing broadcasts. We've had a few. We're normally very good with them though, so it's not a common aspect. Speaking of things that aren't normally a common aspect, Moritz Lerner left the door wide open, and Tim Yarshall doesn't need a second invitation. Straight through into 4th place. Once he's got by Barner, he's not wasting any time. The thing is though, Rob, with them battling this hard, they've costing themselves time. It's about 1.5 seconds they've cost each other over the last couple of laps on the top trio.
Yeah, and I think not just playing the long game here. He could maybe attack Pinches a bit more, but he isn't doing it because he wants to win the race, and he rather wants to fight with Pinches and Fiducci than also with these 2 Germans here.
Yeah, that's one thing that we've known about David Nagy is that he plays the long game. That is why he is your 2020 CUPRA SimRacing Series champion. There are things that he's done over the 2020 series that kind of just show how much of a mature driver he has become for Mirror Esports, being effectively throughout this season. He's been their flagship driver, of course. They've had a few drivers, but they've all worked together to make sure that this championship comes to fruition, and it has done so in the last round. But he's not done with winning. You know, you never are. You always want to tick off the big tracks, and wow, Spa is a fantastic venue to win at.
Oh, Banky!
The 3 wide. That was, Banky getting involved. Wow, off Moritz Lerner. Oh, so was it 5? Yeah, it was Lerner. Pfeiffer, though, was very much a part of that. That's the car that we're focused on now. Nearly got both of these 2 ahead down the inside at bus stop. Very, very feisty. First opportunity, though, to come into the pit lane.
And Lerner took it.
And Lerner bit. Very early. Maybe, was it slightly too early, or was that all right?
I think that might have been all right. Bonnie also in the pits. Florian Hasse trying to go side by side with Attila Dina, but not quite far enough ahead.
Yeah, a couple of very early pitters, say trying to just get out of the train that they're a part of, maybe try and gain something on tyres. I don't suspect that tyre wear will be too much of an issue right now, so I don't think they're going to get the undercut in a way that we've seen before in the CUPRA SimRacing Series, that we saw at Suzuka, we saw at Shanghai, where the undercut can gain you an awful lot of time. I don't think we're going to quite see that here. It did count then from Moritz Lerner and Alex Dornan. It was just about right time-wise. They saw that ticking down and timed it to perfection. And Lerner and Dornan with the green box have ticked it off. I think there was a little bit of a battle there with Florian Hasse and Attila Dina, who are switching positions for 12th. They certainly are still. Attila Dina on the inside of Hasse. Kirill Antonov directly ahead of this, and Emre Cihan moving his way up the order after a poor qualifying, only 21st, moving up to 14th. And maybe eyeing up a couple more positions depending on what happens here. Pretty racy there between the two Germans.
Yeah, and let's not forget Florian Hasse won the last race. He won the second race in Hockenheim. Oh, Dina leaving the door open for Cihan.
Momentum around the outside. Puorno might work out into Lefania, and I think it certainly does. You're absolutely right. It's one thing that's been, I think it's been the thorn in Florian Hasse's side, is that as much as we normally expect Florian Hasse to be extremely consistent, he's not super duper aggressive, but he is normally very, very consistent, and his consistency this season has almost been his downfall.
A mistake from Hasse.
Yeah, a mistake, and it's opened the door. Attila Dina and Emre Cihan go through. That's testament to what we're saying there, is that his consistency, his ability to deliver results consistently. That, like we've seen a few missteps from Moritz Lerner, but he's always sort of like there or thereabouts in the top 5, at least has the pace for it. It's almost as if he's taken all of that consistency from Hasse, and Hasse is sort of left with, sometimes he's really quick and sometimes he's just outside of the top 15 and struggling. This is not a track we'd expect to be slow at either.
No, it's a track we would expect him to be very good at, but he did drive the GT Masters race just before.
Yeah, the joy of having two very different races.
What happened to Banki?
Oh, technical issue?
Technical issue or massive slowdown?
Must be, yeah, it's a massive slowdown because he's getting on with it now. That must be a huge slowdown because he's dropped quite a bit. He's behind Pfeiffer, he's behind Ottaviani. He was battling, of course, with Pfeiffer, so that gap to Pfeiffer is basically what he's dropped. I guess it's not that big, it's still a couple of seconds. I'm just wondering where he would have got it. On the exit of Blanchimont, maybe he just didn't serve it immediately because you won't get right on the source unless you cut the inside of the bus stop.
Oh, and we've missed the move for second place. Meanwhile, so focused on the slowdown. And we missed that Fiducci has gone past David Notch.
Interesting. I still don't think David Notch. He won't be. I don't think he'll be like flustered by this. He's still going to play the long game. Maybe he'll try and get back through on Gianmarco Fiducci. We saw Notch not play the long game last time out. It got him into a little bit of trouble with when he was battling with Moritz Lerner and that lot. And Martin Barner. He tried firing it through, and it basically just didn't work. It wasn't his finest moment in the season, but most of the time he does play the long game, especially in the endurance races. Why we're surprised he hasn't won too many of them, to be honest. In fact, he's not won an endurance race this season, is it? I don't think he has, because the first one was Keithley, then there was 2 for Lerner, and then it was Pinches. And who won the other one? Banki.
Yeah, Banki won at Suzuka.
But he's not won one this season.
Pinches has, so maybe he's even the favorite in this battle. And he hasn't shown any sign of weakness. Pinches, of course, he's in a battle with Florian Hasse. A battle for 4th place in the championship.
He's got big points today, in that sense. Even if he finishes any step on the podium with Florian Hasse only 13th place, it'll be big points that Adam Pinches will be hoovering up on that podium in any capacity. He's still holding the lead, at least for now. Does anyone bite for the pit lane? No, they do not. Not from this top trio. We've got Martin Barner here with Tim Yarshall. Martin Barner, oh, I thought he was going to go down there. Gets the cutback. Oh, nicely timed from the AAA Esports driver. He might be able to get back through on Tim Yarshall. Nicely done into the exit of the bus stop. Oh, slow down penalty for Tim Yarshall. Slow down penalty. See him taking that. Never mind. I'll take the plaudits away from Barner on that one.
Maybe they picked them up in Blanchimont. Because it's kind of the same place where Ben Spanky also slowed down.
The question is Gianmarco Fiducci going to be as patient as David Noj into Les Combes? He made the move on Noj last time into it. Here he is. This is looking backwards from Pinches. That's Gianmarco Fiducci. Yes, he is going to be as patient. Just give him a little bit of a bump and thinks, I'm not going to lead just yet, thank you. He could absolutely have gone for that, though, considering how early they were on the straight. They could very much have got that move done. Gomez pitted as well, so he's dropped out behind Moritz Lerner, and Sokovikov also have been to the pit lane to complete their mandatory stop. Here's Torsten Ulrich with Kirill Antonov, Ben Spanky ahead of this. Obviously Spanky after that slowdown penalty. He's not really bounced back from that on pace. I will say, Ottaviani's caught Pfeiffer quite a lot here as Torsten Ulrich down the inside of Kirill Antonov. Antonov straight back through at Rivage and able to cover it off into the corner with no name. Nice work, but I think Pfeiffer's struggling with pacing him. I gave him a good amount of praise earlier on, and now he's under an awful lot of pressure from Ottaviani, who's doing great things in his time at the moment.
And what is interesting here is that Antonov is taking the line that Felix von der Laden invented in the VIP event, driving on this little green strip of carpet, I think it is, out of the corner with no name up to Puhon.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's asphalt or if it's concrete out there. But, you know, why not? If you've seen it work with someone else, why not give it a go yourself? And if there's time gained from it, we know, like whether it's in the sim racing world or the motorsport world, Robbie, you're going to take those advantages, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure.
Don't want to leave a couple of tenths on the table. Ottaviani, well inside the top 10, dropped off with Pfeiffer. I think Tim Yarshall might have received another slowdown. He's definitely not bounced back from it, as now he's under pressure from Pfeiffer, who's gone straight down the inside. And Pfeiffer then has gone up to 5th place. Nice job. Yeah, Martin. Oh, we've got a few in the pit lane. Gianmarco Fiducci also in the pit lane. Barner as well. So a few drivers coming into the pit lane. Pfeiffer getting it done on Tim Yarshall, who's bounced back with a drive out of the bus stop. He's got the inside though for La Source. Momentum for the outside though. It might open it up as well for Ottaviani to be a part of this. But Pfeiffer's doing great work to battle with a driver of the caliber of Tim Yarshall.
Yeah, fantastic race from him here. And our focus should switch now to Moritz Lerner, so we can see where exactly Fiducci is coming out of the pits.
How much of a gain is Moritz Lerner going to get from this? That is the question. That's what we're focused on. Coming through La Source, Fiducci's completed his pit lane travel. Going through T1, Fiducci drops back behind, but then it goes back ahead. It's just the timing. Fiducci's ahead, but not by much. That's a decent gain from Moritz Lerner. You kind of get the feeling if he keeps ticking off a couple of laps at this speed, he's obviously going to be carrying momentum, considering that Eau Rouge Radion is flat. He's going to be gaining time all the way up to Les Combes as well. And
he will have much better tires as well.
Yeah.
I think that's actually going to pay out for Fiducci. And even more so for Notch and Pinches, who are still out.
Yeah. Here's our race winner last year, as Dorneden tries to get a move done on Torsten Ulrich. Ulrich winner here in the VIP race earlier in the year. Quite a high-profile win, that one, for Torsten Ulrich. Did his duty. Alex Dorneden was in that race, not able to get the move done on Torsten Ulrich here now. Quite yet, anyway. Nearly halfway through the race, and they're ticking off the laps. We're on lap 10 of proceedings, and Dorneden on the back of Ulrich in 19th place. That'll translate them somewhere inside the top 15 once everyone's been into the pit lane. But I'm sure they would both, considering victors at this venue, would both want to be a little bit higher. Adam Pinches under pressure then from David Noj. Noj's patience up until this point has been he's been very calculated. He's been waiting. He's been eyeing up the best opportunity for him. Are either of these going to come into the pit lane now? You kind of get the feeling that they maybe should. They both do. Adam Pinches and David Noj to the pit lane. Is Tim Yarshall, Max Pfeiffer, are they all going to follow as well? We'll have to wait and see. Pfeiffer does. Yarshall doesn't. Yarshall heads then to the lead of the race. Ottaviani also following in. I think Kirill Antonov I saw just poking his way into pit lane as well. It'll be a busy pit lane, Rob.
Yeah, busy pit lane indeed. Lots of CUPRA mechanics here. We can't see them in RaceRoom. Still doing their jobs, changing the front tires. Ooh, collisions are disabled though.
Oh, Ottaviani missed his box.
Ah, that's a shame. Such a good race from him though, up to this point.
It wasn't too big, but it definitely cost him time.
Pinches with a better stop than David Notch. And let's see, where is Fiduci?
Just there he is on the right-hand side, just coming through. He'll carry the momentum a little bit harder than Pinches. At the moment, coming out of T1, they see the two potential race leaders. David Notch will be the first one. The momentum for Gianmarco Fiduci is not really going to work. It's going to catch him right in the middle of Eau Rouge, so he's actually lost out in this scenario. Adam Pinches has stopped fantastic. He has got nearly contact. I think Fiduci will be able to get David Notch here, but he's going to be way off the back of Adam Pinches in comparison to where he wants to be. Is he just going to push? He's just going to push David Notch. Very smart.
Yes, I think he knows if they start fighting too hard, then Pinches has won the race. Bit of a moment for Fiduci. Cold tires, of course.
Yeah, it took a little bit too much curb as well. But yeah, I think that's absolutely the right call, is to use your brain and not think, oh, I can get by Notch here, and think again. This is the kind of race where you need to think like a David Notch, like from elsewhere, Dennis Jordan, like these kind of drivers. And obviously like these top level drivers, you need to kind of think like how they think. It's not just attack. It's attacking, but in the right way. There is a time to attack and there's a time to sort of sit and wait, and this is one of those times. He doesn't really gain very much from trying to go for a move on Notch, other than he's then going to be under pressure from Notch. He's then not maybe going to be able to focus on his line. If he lets Notch do it, Series champion, he's plenty quick enough to close that gap to Adam Pinches.
And Lerner also. Lerner's right behind them, so they probably want to avoid getting caught by Lerner.
Lerner, who's already won a couple of the endurance races in 2020. So yeah, you don't want to bring him into the mix. Williams Esports were pretty strong in this, winning the first 3 endurance races of the season. Jack Keithley back in Imola, and then the next 2 going the way of the P2 in the championship, Moritz Lerner. After that, we said Pinches got one, Banky got one. Pinches currently leading the way of the drivers that have already stopped, currently leading the way of the drivers that haven't. Tim Yarshall, Bence Banky behind him, Florian Haase, Romanenko, the 2 Szoboszlais, and Attila Dina quite a way down the order, so things really not working out for Attila Dina. He has come into the pit lane though to serve his. I wonder where he'll come out from his stop. The inside of the top 10. Oh, the racing between Sokovikov and Wittfurt. Lee as well, not too far off the back, a debut for him at least this season. Sokovikov wasn't quite close enough to dive it there into La Source. Wittfurt's done, I think Wittfurt's done quite well considering, I mean, I know this is towards the back of the field, but pace-wise, considering where he's joined the season, he's not done every round. For a few rounds of split 2, if I remember correctly. I think it's done actually quite well for the Ballas Racing team, one of their many drivers across all splits of the CUPRA SimRacing Series.
Wittfurt is one of the drivers who's very fast in the pre-qualifying, but I don't think he has so much racing experience yet. So he's one of the guys who can still learn a bit, get better round by round. Little setback probably this time. Ooh, Sokovikov.
I think he just missed the corner a little bit, opened the door to Sokovikov and then pushed back. Sokovikov went for a gap that wasn't fully there at the point. I don't think Wittfurt really wanted it too badly. Like a bit of a lock-up from a car ahead. There was some smoke going into there. Here's Szoboszlai and Szoboszlai. A bit of action here between the 2 brothers. Like you said, you don't want to finish behind your siblings in the race. You've got to, if there's one person on the grid, you have bitter rivals, but this is a different level of bitter rivalry. Whether we finish last and last doesn't matter. I just need to be ahead of my brother. Why I never invited my brother to sim racing.
And they both took the 2 last places to join the grid. Considering that they have a pretty good race, of course they still have to come to the pits. We're now in the second half of the race, so they still got 15 minutes to make their pit stop.
They're both very similar on pace, at least at this point. Oh, there we go. Balázs Szoboszlai comes into the pit lane, lets Sylvester take 5th. I think Tim Yarshall also in the pit lane, you can see there. Bence Banky as well all entering the pit lane. Florian Haase heads to the front of the field, passing the halfway point here at Spa, penultimate round of the season. And Florian Haase to the front, the battle for what will become the race lead. The drivers that have already stopped, Adam Pinches has had that gap closed now by David Noj. You see at the bottom there, already the series champion. Applying the pressure to AAA Esports, Adam Pinches, Gianmarco Fiducci as well. That patience has paid off. He's now back into the battle for the race lead. And I think they're just pulling out bit by bit again on Moritz Lerner.
And Jarschel quite far ahead. Actually, I was mistaken. That's not Lerner. That is Max Pfeiffer.
Yeah, they're obviously the same livery, but done the other way around. It's very hard to tell sometimes.
We'll have really good tires for the rest of the race, and look where Bunky is. Ooh, probably not there.
Here's Ottaviani. Banky way off the back as Ottaviani's going for a move here on Kirill Antonov. The inside into Lecom. Antonov to the outside. Oh, there's contact between the two of them. The advantage really not really going anywhere. I think it's more Kirill Antonov who's going to have the outside. But with the inside of Ottaviani down towards Rivage, the momentum around the outside of Malmedy not really worked for Kirill Antonov. There's contact between the two of them, and Ottaviani is in 12th place. Nice move there on the inside of Antonov. Antonov tried holding firm. The young Russian, race winner this season, able to hang on. 13th place is all he can muster at the moment. Yeah, Bence Banky weighed on the order in 14th. Of course, hasn't really had the best run, and that's why this works out so well for the likes of Pinches. Is when Banky, when Haase are up, when they're all struggling on pace and points, it's where he can gain.
Yes,
So I think this is a little bit too far down the road for him, isn't it?
I think this result will really mix up the championship standings, because Pinches and Fiducci as well, they will gain a lot of momentum. Haase, of course, is still in the lead here, but he has to pit. And when we saw where Jarschel and Bunky came out, I don't think Haase will come out in a really good spot.
Haase, I think, is closely approaching the pit lane. Whether he's coming in or not, or whether he's going to leave it to the last moment, give himself some very good tyres for the end of the race. I think he might have come in. Adam Pinches still leading the way at the moment of the drivers that have stopped, but under a lot of pressure. Haase is in. Romanenko takes the lead of the race. Sylvester Schwoschlei as well to the front. I think they might all be in the pit lane, pitting at different points. We'll see if Adam Pinches heads to the lead of the field here into La Source. I think he is indeed. Yes, he is. Everyone then has stopped from that top lot, just past the halfway mark of the race. The top three very much together. Moritz Lerner returning to the position where I think he started the season in 4th. The first 2 races of the season, just off the podium. It took him a while to get that first podium, ended up being a victory. See how committed they are for Radion. Let's see. Does David Noj go for it? Inside, outside? Not yet. Pushing Adam Pinches. Not feeling it now. If I was Adam Pinches, I'd be concerned right now. Because you just sat there going, they're going to bite at some point. It's just, when is that point?
We have seen it from Notch at Slovakia Ring, that he's waiting long. And of course, for his championship, it's been perfect, you know. He has in few incidents. He's not a very risky driver in the battles. But at Slovakia Ring, for example, he waited too long. He just couldn't make a move in the end.
And if he waits too long in this scenario, Gianmarco Fiducci may pounce and may try and make a move. That's the kind of things that you have to be careful of when you're waiting long. Gianmarco Fiducci is also waiting, but for him, it's a potential first victory in RaceRoom in the CUPRA SimRacing Series. For David Noj, it's a win at an iconic venue, but for him, it's another win. It'll be the first endurance race that he'd win in his CUPRA SimRacing Series career. Didn't win one last year. The only race win he had last year was a sprint race at Hockenheim. One more Gomez with Pfeiffer behind. I'm a little concerned with Pfeiffer's tyres, considering how he kind of seemed to not really have the pace towards the end of the first stint. Might drop him into the clutches of Ottaviani, of Antonov, maybe even Banky if he's not careful. Banky outside the top 10 though, with everyone stopped from.
Yeah, big surprise. And look where Haase is. He's behind Dorneden in P16.
Well, what a... It's not been the season that Florian Haase wanted. I don't think the race victory on home soil the Hockenheim ring would really do much of that. It will help a little bit, you know. It'll be like, oh, thank God for that. At least I got that out of the way. But for everything else, the season's really not gone the way of Florian Harser or Tim Yarshaw, of Euronics Gaming in general. Oh, as here we've got quite the battle pack. This is Antonov. Ahead of him, Ottaviani, Pfeiffer as well. Those two were battling it out towards the end of the first stint. Gomez and Yarshaw. Yarshaw's under a lot of pressure in 6th place. Martin Barner of AAA Esports has gone, so the top 5 splitter it. Oh, Ottaviani to the inside. It might have opened the door for the momentum on the outside for Antonov. There's contact between Ottaviani and Antonov, and it's just delayed Antonov there. Banky's loving seeing that. He's got Emery Cheehan and Torsten Ulrich behind him. I'm thinking if these lot are all going to battle this hard, then there's potential for me to gain in this scenario up and over the curbs. At Radion, looking at Tim Yarshaw. We'll see Martin Barner come into frame. If Gomez goes for a move, is he going to, or are they just going to slipstream party their way up to Lecom? That is exactly what's going to happen. Ottaviani looks out in the background on the inside of Pfeiffer. To the inside he does go, commits the Italian, opens door for Antonov as well, and Pfeiffer dropped to the back of the train to 10th place.
Pretty aggressive move from Ottaviani. His best race of the season for sure. A little bit of contact there against Pfeiffer. I think Pfeiffer can probably bounce back from it. I wonder if Yarshaw, he can maybe catch up to Martin Barner, because he pitted very late.
He will have better tyres, of course, with that courtesy of that late pit stop. The balance of the car might be a little bit different as we see Ottaviani just losing the rear a little bit into P1. So the front wheel drives. When you come in, obviously you brake, you lift off the throttle, not fully most of the time, but you lift off of it enough, and then the rear end starts to come around. You correct that by just applying that little bit of throttle. But once it goes too far, then you're sliding, you're losing a lot of time. The rear end sliding that will help go through the corner to a point. But once it passes that point, you start sliding across the road, you end up losing time, and well, potentially even more than that if you slide that a little bit too far, and you end up in a barrier. Maurice Lerner's dropped off quite a lot from Fiducci. The very early pit stop that he made, whether it'll work out in the long run, it's worked out in the short. He's built a gap on the drivers that he was battling, Barner, Yarshaw, Gomez. He was all in that kind of battle earlier in the race. The early pit stops gapped him from that, but whether it will last the next 22 minutes, well, we will have to wait and see. I think it'll be about 9 laps they have ahead of them.
Yeah,
to wrestle the circuit.
Doesn't look like he can catch up to the cars ahead, but it also doesn't quite look like Barner can catch up to Lerner. Maybe a quiet race for the German. Quiet race to secure his 2nd place in the championship, because that's what he would do with this finish. He would be confirmed 2nd place in the championship standings with Benz Bunky only in P11.
I think his big fear will come from not Barner. If he's looking, and we know that Lerner's a very smart driver in that sense, he'll be thinking about all of the opportunity. He goes to this man, Tim Yarshaw, on those the youngest tyres on the grid. The youngest drivers in this battle. He could be seeing Lerner towards the end of the race. We'll see what happens towards that checker flag. Ottaviani aggressive earlier, getting a bit of aggressive with Gomez as well. Gomez very much squeezing into the braking zone of Lake Promise. A little bit naughty from Gomez. Ottaviani was very much there and pushing him. It was onto the curb, but still, it's a little bit too much. Very much a touring car move.
Ottaviani, he's one of the few drivers that has chosen the CUPRA as well for the WTCR Championship that will start tomorrow, also live on RaceRoom. We will be teammates there with Adam Pinches, with the race leader. That's no surprise that he chose the CUPRA. And Ottaviani getting in form here. Didn't have the best season, missed out on server 1 quite a few times. Oh, and Antonov is going for it. Backs out of it.
Piff Paff's not the greatest of overtaking opportunities, but you do love to see someone try it. Unfortunately, around here, every corner's got about 8 different names. That one's between Lafania and Piff Paff. I much prefer Piff Paff because that's just an excellent name for any complex of corners.
It sounds like something from Lucky Luke, I don't know.
Well, Kirill Antonov was trying to put a stamp of his name on Piff Paff, make it Antonov. We'll We'll see what happens towards the end of it, see if he does make a move in there. Maybe try and get a third name for the complex. We'll see. Into bus stop. Ottaviani to the inside, very heavily committed. Oh, this might be bad. Yeah, I thought he overdid it. Oh, into the side of Tim Yarshall. It's caused everything to get very much clustered. Antonov's gained. Gomez lost out a little bit. Well, I don't think it's too bad. It's just on time. Bit of flashing of the lights then from Kirill Antonov. Very aggressive from Ottaviani. Just misjudged it. I get the feeling that Tim Yarshall probably saw that one coming. To the outside, Antonov goes on Gomez. I think he might drop in behind here. Yeah, he does. Oh, he misjudged it there. It's a monster crash. That's terrifying to see.
That could have been catastrophic there. Probably didn't see how far Gomez was still alongside him, and almost put Gomez into the wall there.
I saw some of that yesterday between a couple of drivers in a different series. It's when you see that kind of stuff, yes, it looks bad, but it's not intentional. It's just a mistake. As Antonov to the outside of Gomez, all very aggressive between the two. Gomez pushing Antonov all the way as far across as he can and hangs on. Antonov going for the cutback on the run down towards Rivage. The cutback's not quite worked as Antonov covers off Ottaviani. Ottaviani trying to cover off and go each way on Pfeiffer as well behind. Pfeiffer's through the inside at Rivage and makes it stick before the corner with no name. Nice work from Pfeiffer. Aggressive stuff. I'm quite impressed with that. That was well done. Look who, though, is part of this battle, though. P11, Bent Banky has caught this, has closed this gap, is looking to get himself inside the top 10 with 17 minutes and 50 seconds to go. A decent recovery from the Red Bull Racing Esports driver. A top 10 very much possible, maybe even a little bit more.
And he will probably be thinking, what am I getting myself into here?
It does seem like quite a battle. I think me and you both in touring car racing have come up to a battle like this and just sort of sitting there thinking, do I get involved? Because it looks like you're all about to crash. So, you know, gloves off, gloves on. We'll see what Banky's decision is in that. We saw him be quite aggressive back in Suzuka when he took that victory, passing Moritz Lerner, passing Gergo Baldi on the final lap of the race. An aggressive move that he pulled off. It worked out in the end. Got him a penalty, mind, but worked out in the terms of victory. Adam Pinchez comes to lead another lap. 17 completed. Adam Pinchez has led most of them from T1 of the race, basically, getting to the inside of pole sitter David Noj. Noj didn't really mind it too much, though. He's just thought, like, I can be patient in this scenario, and seemingly it is working out for him, at least for now, for Pinchez. We see Gianmarco Viducci. He looks a bit cold there because he's got it seems like a turtleneck. Must be pretty cold in Italy this time of year.
Fiduci, I think he's done everything right here. They're really getting Lerner now, over 7 seconds between Fiduci and Lerner.
This is a stunning drive from Gianmarco Fiduci. Once again, we've seen a lot of potential from this young man, and for Fiduci, you kind of get the feeling that things are starting to click into place. We saw the emotion and stuff when he missed out on a podium back in Dubai. Maybe it could have been a race win. I feel the race was maybe a little bit too far away from him, but he was very emotional when he picked up a track cut. It just cost him the chance of even trying to win a race, the chance of even the podium, which he was currently on at that point. Further down the order, this is with Lee and Szoboszlai, I think, and it certainly is Sylvester Szoboszlai. Whoa, it is feisty. Anywhere you look in the grid, the Szoboszlais are now last, and unfortunately second to last of the runners that we've currently got. Leandro Bella, the only retirement of the race. 24 cars still going around a track which really bites. So very good from the field, it must be said.
Yeah, great race. Let's check on Alex Dorneden as well. E16 made a little bit of progress from earlier on. I think he lost his chances very early in the race.
Yeah, the contact into this section and then leaving it with Kirill Antonov really put an end to the potential that Alexander Dorneden could have brought to the table. I don't think he would quite have had the pace to battle with Pinchez, Noj and Fiducci, but maybe inside the top 5 there would have been some some potential for the Veloce esports driver. Unfortunately, not quite.
Not quite indeed. Let's see what happens to Ben Spunky here. He's of course also on 4 strikes already. 6 strikes would mean that he gets a race ban for the next race. So you must be careful. Oh, that's not really careful, is it?
That was not. That was not. I think he kind of got tripped up a little bit there as the other drivers around him, Ottaviani and Pfeiffer, were all kind of tripping up over each other. Don't really know who's at fault in that scenario, whether it's a racing incident, but either way, Ben Spanky did get through. But then Ottaviani fights back, and Ottaviani to the inside of La Source gets back through on Ben Spanky, so back to 11th you go. Wasn't able to finish off the move, which, maybe you'd kind of expect Ben Spanky to do. I don't think he fully intended, though, to be in that scenario at that point. Oh, massively over the curb. Radion was Ottaviani there. It's throwing the car up into an incredible angle at the speeds they're going. The rise uphill, up the Camel Straight towards Lake Holm. It's actually a lot steeper than people think up here. It's quite a stretch uphill. Wouldn't want to ride it on a bike, I'll tell you that. And then we crest the top and start going down. Race leaders still holding line. Fiducci was the first one to make a move prior to the pit stop. Made that move on David Noj. Now I kind of get the feeling that David Noj is very aware of that, and so maybe it's kind of like, we're 13 minutes to go. I get the feeling that Gianmarco Fiduci is waiting and his time for a move is coming. Noj might be aware of that and might think, I'll try and make a move before he does to try and get to the lead.
But I think they can definitely start now. Because it's 9 seconds to Moritz Löhner. He's not gonna catch that up even if they do battle.
Yeah, incredible drive from the top 3. They have been class of the field today. To have pulled out 10 seconds, it's just testament. When you don't battle, when you work together, you can make great things happen, and these 3 are making that great thing happen. They have pulled away massively over a very talented field, and for David Noj, that's sort of like, I've won a few races. Here it is to the inside. There we go. Speaking of not being so patient with the move, he's finally making his opportunity. You said they can battle now, and battle they do massively over the curb there for Adam Pinches. Nearly rolled the car as Florian Haase did in qualifying at the final game. Got to be careful of that. To the inside, Noj goes. To the inside, Gianmarco Fiduci goes. We've seen the momentum at the outside work a couple of times. That's with the slipstream of the car ahead. David Noj able to do it, but Pinches slots in behind. Noj to your race lead.
Nice move from David Noj, and I think it helped him that Pinches couldn't get the power down there. 2 wheels were not in any contact with the racing surface. And this is tight.
Got even my heart starting to race. Pinches is going to try and fire back immediately. Goes to the right, goes to the left. Doesn't really know which way to go. There isn't any room on the right-hand side. Gianmarco Fiduci moving it over to the right side of your shot, to the left-hand side of the track for him. Holds position in 3rd. Not able to go for anything on Adam Pinches. It was covered off quite nicely by the 2 Hungarians out front. Yeah, as I was saying though, for Noj, this is sort of like, I wouldn't say it's a regular thing to be leading the race, but for Pinches, and more so for Fiduci, it is a huge confidence builder heading into the final round of the season.
Yeah, just jumping back to the Bunky battle. Hold on a moment.
They're not able to get by Pfeiffer, but Pfeiffer has been passed by Ottaviani to the inside of Rivage, Torsten Ulrich as well, to the inside of Emery Chihan. That Rivage directly behind the Satiladina as well, ready to pick up the pieces should anything happen. Torsten Ulrich to 12th place, Emery Chihan 13th. But ahead of that, Ben Spanky still not able to make any progress on Pfeiffer or on Ottaviani. It's now Kirill Antonov who's run away. I get the feeling as well, just as an FYI, that Martin Barner has been closed by Tim Yarshall. Tim Yarshall very much a part of that battle for 5th place. And remember, this also plays in, there's still enough laps. You get the feeling it'll be 4 laps, I think, when they cross the line this time. There should still be time for Tim Yarshall to potentially catch and to pass Moritz Löhner. The clock is very much ticking in the race and for these drivers. But they're just hoping that they've got enough to hang on.
We have to focus on the battle for the front for now, though, because I think Pinches, he's not going to wait now. I think he might try it. Oh, Fiducci! Just makes a bit of contact with Pinchos there. Pinchos taps Notch as well. All fair so far.
That could have ended in tears. Like I said, Notch looking for another race win this season. Adam Pinches looking for his second race win, or third race win, sorry, this season. Gianmarco Fiducci looking for his first in the season, in RaceRoom, in general. So for him, well, for all three of these, I think it'll be a pretty big win, because for Notch, it'll be his first endurance race win, which will be pretty big for him. Here we go, Banky to the inside, trying to get top 10 away from Ottaviani, also from Pfeiffer as well, and does so, gets the move done on both of them. I think he did one into the final, into the bus stop chicane. Pfeiffer's having none of that, is to the inside. Surely he'll have to yield here, heading into Eau Rouge. Certainly does, up and over through Radion. Vince Banky to 9th finally. Nothing happening in the race lead just yet. David Noj hanging on. Adam Pinches returning the patience, at least for now. Gianmarco Fiducci is feeling a little bit racy behind though.
Yeah, I think Fiducci might be the next one to try and move here. But as soon as he tries, he knows he can't win the race, because that will cost Pinchos some time. And we also know how David Notch is driving.
You cannot give the man a gap. If he has a gap, you know, if you cost yourself 5/10 a second, something like that, he will capitalise on that. He'll use that moment to push and to break them. At the moment, he's not able to break them. The slipstream is enough. But the moment you start to break that slipstream, he will break you. As a driver, he will be able to pull away. He has that pace, he has that consistency. How many times have we seen Noj take a pole position in that 5-minute qualifying session? It's a lot. It was every time, what, since Brands, I think it was. And the fact that you said last time, he's so good in that session. And the reason I bring that up is because when it comes time to deliver the lap time, so if they separate, he needs to deliver. And he will. He can do that. He knows how to push this car to its very limit. At the moment, the slipstream's not quite enough, though.
So it also means that Fiducci has to hope for Pinchos to attempt the move. Because otherwise he probably can't win the race.
Absolutely.
Pinchos is pretty close.
You never know what will happen between these two Hungarians, though. And maybe patience might work out for Gianmarco Fiducci. At the moment, not quite. But third place. I mean, regardless, whatever order these three finish in, they've done very, very well, regardless. Tim Yarshall on the back of Barner, still not able to get by in every lap. He's still stuck behind Barner. Is a great lap for Moritz Lerner, who's trying to hang on to 4th place. And also, with that 4th place, with everything standing as it is it still, if Benz Banky finishes 9th, is it still the championship for 2nd place is set for Moritz Lerner?
Yeah, it's going to be enough for Moritz Lerner to secure the 2nd place. Either way, it was pretty likely before the event anyway.
Yeah.
Banky was not quite believing in it anymore.
Here we go then. Best chance for Pinches to retake the race lead. What's he going to do? Oh, he was just a little bit too close coming through the Camel curve onto the Camel straight. And, well, he's looking very, very patient at the moment. How the tides have turned. Your championship leader, championship winner of 2020, leading the way here at Spa, the penultimate round of the season. Just 6 minutes to go in this. Adam Pinches. He's playing his cards right at the moment. Whether that'll be the same case when the checkered flag flies, not too sure. This is the 3rd to last lap here at Spa. Speaking of people who like Spa, we've got Alexander Dornlund battling it out with Romanenko, 16th place. Romanenko's caught up to the back of the 2019 series champion, and Romanenko's fancying his chance to put one on the previous champ. Certainly is to the inside very aggressively. Oh, a little bit of contact was made, and Konstantin Romanenko goes to 16th, puts one on the 2019 champ, who's firing one back through. Woohoo! That would have been very close. It's not a corner you can dive into, the corner with no name.
Oh, it's pretty fast.
Yeah. When it comes to corners of the circuit, most of them are pretty high medium speed. Barner's delayed to hang on. Speaking of, I think this is going to work out for Tim Yarshall, getting very feisty and pushing Barner basically out of the way there through Campers, through Stavolo towards Curve Paul Frere. That's the position done then for Yarshall. He'll set his sights on P5. What's going to happen for the race lead? Is Pinches firing it through now, or is he still going to remain patient? Or someone who's not remaining patient, Gianmarco Verducci is going for it. He's going to have the inside of the second part of bus stop. I think he might be able to grab second position here. It depends on where the slipstream's going to go. Gianmarco Verducci then goes to second, doesn't break the slipstream. Nice work, great move. And Gianmarco Verducci in a potential position to take his first victory on RaceRoom with just one more move to go. 2 laps to go here at Spa.
This is going to be decided on the final lap, probably.
Yeah.
Verducci looking racy, Bana as well. He just went back past Jarsel, just to immediately lose the position again. We have to focus now on the top 3 here. Can Verducci finally take his first victory in the CUPRA SimRacing Series? Or is David Notch going to take his 8th victory of the season?
His heart will be absolutely racing. He's got Adam Pinches, who's just got an overlap now on the Kemmel Straight, hasn't he? Backs out of it, hits that wall of air. Gianmarco Verducci is going to try and commit himself to the outside, doesn't do so, backs out of it. Things looking good for David Notch. I'm a little concerned with how Verducci wasn't able to even slipstream into a potential overtake. Maybe he lifted, maybe he didn't. I'm not 100% sure. But David Notch knows how to win a race from this position, and the ideal place to win a race from is the race lead. I know that sounds stupid, but a lot of people kind of look at this and think the slipstream, oh, maybe you'd want to be in second place and use the slipstream. And I've said that many a time before. If it were me, I'd want to be leading the race regardless. You can try and defend, you can try and hang on from the race lead, because you're not exactly a sitting duck, not in this series. You need to make sure that you've done the source right. And if you're trying to slipstream to overtake, you kind of need to hope for a little bit of a mistake, maybe too much curb through Eau Rouge. Things are looking good for Notch, things are still looking good for Verducci, and maybe even Pinches as well. Don't rule Pinches out of this at all.
Yeah, as soon as there's contact, he will be there. I wonder if Pinches will attack Verducci now. Because Pinches could theoretically lose his place in the championship to Verducci. It's unlikely. Pinches is more fighting against Hasse, and he will put a big gap on Hasse now. But it's still possible. David Notch is not really relevant for the championship of Adam Pinches.
Curious as to what Gianmarco Verducci was doing there, because he was actually getting out of the slipstream of David Notch a little bit. I'm not quite sure why. It won't be for a temperature issue.
Maybe to get a perfect slingshot as well. Because if
maybe.
he's close too early, then he has to get the outside. He gets the outside again, leaves him vulnerable.
Heavy on the brakes into bus stop. This is exactly where he made the move stick on Pinches. He's there to the inside of Notch. Pinches for the outside momentum. There's contact between a lot of them on the run towards turn 1. We start the final lap of the race. David Notch, the series champion, leads the way as Gianmarco Verducci is trying to cover off Adam Pinches to the inside. Verducci trying to hang on. Oh, he's not going to be able to do it. Goes for a cutback, and it's not quite working. Adam Pinches returns to second place. Oh, a little bit of a shrug there from Verducci. It's not over yet. There's still plenty of overtaking opportunities. He's cost himself a little bit of time, a bit of hand waving. Oh, well, we'll have to wait and see. Pinches, though, sensing that this is now the time. Huge momentum up and over the top, and this is exactly why it isn't done for Gianmarco Verducci, because any contact between the two of them, the door is wide open for him to go on through. Final lap of the race, final time into Les Combes. Into the slipstream. Adam Pinches goes to the outside. Not quite going to work. One opportunity ticked off. David Notch trying to hang on. Contact between the two. Pushing him through the corner, through Malmedy. Down towards Ravage. Another opportunity. If he can dive it through on the brakes. How's Pinches feeling? Not here. Oh, he's overdone it. There is contact there. Is that going to open the door for Gianmarco Verducci? Not quite yet. But he is right back into the mix, Rob.
Yeah, Pinches taking a lot of risk there. That can go pretty wrong, but David Notch able to save the car, able to maintain the lead.
What does Gianmarco Verducci do now? Does he wait and just hope there's going to be something into the final chicane? I'd kind of wait until the bus stop, see what happens, play my cards there, and just see, because if he tries to go through on Pinches now, there's no way he's going to be able to do that. And Notch in the final sector. They head through Piff Paff, Lefania, towards Campus, towards Stavolo, ticking off those opportunities. Realistically, from this point, there is just one more opportunity. The bus stop, that run through Blanchimont into the bus stop chicane is really the only opportunity left for the drivers here. Penultimate race of the season. Top honours in the championship have already been settled, but the race win here at Spa, who is going to put one hand on that title that Alexander Dornodin has, the King of Spa here on RaceRoom? Well, we'll see what happens. David Nagy absolutely pinned. Where's the door going to go? He's going to cover it off on the inside. We know that one. What's Pinches going to be doing to the inside? Gianmarco Fiduci all the way to the inside. Is it going to be enough for him on Pinches? There's near contact. I think David Nagy is going to be able to hold on. He certainly is. The 2020 Series champion of the CUPRA SimRacing Series wins here at Spa, takes his first endurance race of the season. Congratulations to him. Adam Pinches in second and Gianmarco Fiduci in third. Bravo to the top three. That was a display and a half. I know there's disappointment in the camp of Fiduci and Pinches. At the same time, though, that was an awe-inspiring display between them. The run to the line between Ottaviani and Ulrich that to decide the top 10. Ulrich, I think, just gets in ahead of Ottaviani. It wasn't by much, though. The 2019 race winner here, Alexander Dornadon, comes across the line in 17th place, not where he would have wanted to finish the day. And we look further down the order to see the final few positions coming across the line. Who's going to win in the Szoboszlai battle? I think it was Sylvester Szoboszlai taking that one. David Nagy, though, finally gets that endurance race victory. Half a second separating the top three. What a display between them, Rob.
Yeah, great race. David Nagy confirming why he's the champion. If he wasn't the champion last time, now he certainly is. Ottaviani, fastest lap, but only P11 in the end. Bunky got up to P9.
It was still enough, though, for Moritz Lerner to secure himself second in the championship. The top two secured before we head into that final race of the season. It's a tense thrill fest, as we were kind of expecting to see here at Spa, and with that one round to go at Macau. Oh, we saw it last season. It took Jack Keithley a long time to take that race victory. Finally did it in Macau. There it is, your 2020 champion, David Nagy for Mirror Esports. Did it by himself as well today. Didn't have a single teammate on track. Still gets the job done. What a driver. And heading into that final round at Macau, maybe he's looking for another couple of victories. Maybe someone else is going to take it. Maybe it'll be that time, that final race of the season where you kind of sometimes, especially at Macau, we see that special race winner, Rob. We see that surprise. Maybe that'll be Gianmarco Fiduci's chance.
Yeah, we already see on the leaderboard lots of drivers from Macau trying to qualify for the race, so that could be interesting as well, with drivers like Lai Sabino joining the grid. Either way, this will be the last round of the CUPRA SimRacing Series 2020, but if you can't get enough of CUPRA SimRacing, we've got also another competition where you can watch, but also where you can drive for free on RaceRoom. So Lewis, I think you will be on the commentary for that one as well.
Yeah, myself, Chris Buxton, will take us through the action. Cannot wait for that to happen. Don't forget to try and get yourself qualified for that. That'll be not this Monday coming up, the Monday afterwards. So a little bit of time until we go racing in that. And then, of course, we finish up the CUPRA SimRacing Series of 2020, the 31st of October in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you so much for joining us through here and through, of course, the season. We will see you at Macau for that final. Until then, goodbye.